welcome to our quarter 1 State of the Union. I call this one more of a informational session. It's not more of a training, it's more of like a little informational session. But our State of the Union is going to be hosted by our wonderful executive director, Lynn Races, where we'll be talking about all the accomplishments and things we achieved in 2024 and talking about some of the things that we'll be doing in 2025. As I mentioned just a couple minutes ago, we will be recording this meeting just so it'll be posted on the volunteer resource page. But yeah, I'll go ahead and turn it on over to Lynn.
Thank you, Ashley. Much appreciated. And thank you for the invitation. I always look forward to this. Every year, we kind of give an overall State of the Union, as we call it, and a report on the prior year. So welcome, everyone. And also welcome Lynn Cowdright, who is a member of the Foundation Board of Directors. And you probably all know that, but I wanted to recognize her as a board member being on this call, and she is our volunteer liaison. So we love Miss Lynn. We're getting close to the month of April and volunteer appreciation. So this is perfect timing to get everyone on the call. Looks like we have 28 people. Yay. So that's great. And just, I can't thank you all enough for the hours you give, the dedication that you provide to, whether you're in the clinic or you're in our office. We have a mix, I think, of attendees, and such, I call it priceless, right? You're priceless. We can't put a price tag on what you do. And we know you can have other things. You could be out golfing or going to the beach, but you make this choice. You make this choice to give and to help others and help others in need. So greatly appreciate it. So we're going to go ahead. This impact report you see is on the Foundation website under About Us. It's great if you want to go back and look at it because there's a lot of information here. And it's a click book, so you can just click through like you're reading a magazine. So 2024, actually, I'm going to see if I can make my screen bigger. Yeah, I know it's hard because it's 2 pages.
Where do you want me to go?
There we go. Wow. Okay. Well, oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. So 2024 was the biggest year ever for the foundation. The applications were up. We had close to 4,000 applications for assistance, if you can even imagine that, with 2 processors on staff and Teresa, who's on this call as well, who process all those checks. It's a lot. And so thank you. If there's volunteers on this call who help with this process, we can't do this without you. We awarded close to $2.2 million last year and helped 1,100 cancer patients and their families. That is the biggest year since inception. So the need is great, and we are so pleased that we were able to provide that much in aid. We also had some fun, of course, our fundraisers, right? We have events. We were very event-centric last year. We did the Me Strong 5K run into land. Last year, there were close to 6,000 people running or walking. And we have our annual Party Under the Stars in Sarasota. And then we changed it up in Tampa. And we did Farm to Table at a beautiful garden venue. So lots of things going on last year. We had 9 events, if you can even imagine such a thing. And then we're going to get into more detail, but there's 270 of you that are patient support volunteers last year in 59 FCS clinics. Wow, that's a lot. And then in the office, we have in-person as well as virtual administrative volunteers, 24 of those. And in addition to that, we have committees for all those events. And we can't do it, hold our events successfully without those committees in those cities where the event is. And so this letter here is from our co-chairs of the board, Dr. Story and Dr. Diaz. sending their gratitude to you, as well as myself. Okay, we're going to move on. Um,
It's
I know it's hard to maneuver, Ashley,
it's
because
like
it's a double screen. Like it's
ah,
like you
it's
can just slide it
panicking.
around. Oh, wait, okay, now you're like,
It won't let me zoom out.
yeah, I don't think it will. Um,
My
you
goodness,
just have
I'm
to, you
so
can
sorry.
slide your bar to bring it in a little bit.
I'm
Um,
so
it's
sorry.
That's okay. This happened last time too. It was like really hard. So everything I just said is kind of captured here, but we had
There we go.
uh, okay,
We're
patient
back.
testimonials. These two patients, Selena and Alicia, are featured here. And they also, and we're going to show you this later, they are also in our brand new foundation video that we just launched last month. And we're so grateful to them for sharing their personal stories with both of them, with their families. And I think you all have been around long enough to know what our mission is, but we never waver from that mission. We provide non medical financial assistance to cancer patients in the entire state of Florida. And I always add to this and say, we're not writing a check to the patient. We are actually paying their current unpaid bills. And honestly, that is a great check and balance for the foundation because we have true record of their unpaid bills and what we paid. And that, when the foundation started in 2011, that is why it was started because the physicians and supporters were watching patients struggling at checkout at the clinic, trying to make their copays or pay their bill. So what they were seeing is they would go home and they had a choice. Do I pay the rent and keep the roof over my head? Or do I pay my copay or my bill over at the doctor's? And they unfortunately were making the choice not to go back for treatment. And that's what we're trying to allow them to keep going for treatment and not worry about all those other things, making sure they have electricity, they have a phone, they have a car, and they can pay their rent or their mortgage. And this is, temporary. It's helping them get over that hump, right? When they're diagnosed and trying to get them a little bit of ease with their life. We're so proud and thankful of the Florida Cancer Specialist physicians. So they're paying for all of us staff, the staff that's on this phone call, there's 10 of us. They're paying for our salaries and our benefits and all our operating expenses. So every penny we get, we are directing that over to patient financial aid. And as fast as it's coming in, pretty much, it's going right out the door. And you can ask Teresa because she's writing the checks, and it's constant. She's doing batches every week of checks and sending them to pay the bills. Okay. Couple things, a few things on just at a glance, achievements. We talked about how much was awarded and how many applications. We, with our events last year, raised over $1.7 million. That's just for events. That's not all the other donations that are coming in. So it shows you what a big piece that is of the foundation. And also, we're really proud to say that since inception, we've never turned away a qualified patient. We've been fortunate that we can raise enough money as all those patients are being approved, that we can write a check and we can pay their bills. Last year, I know this is like burned in our memories. My goodness, we had 3 hurricanes in a row. I think probably every single person on this call was affected in some way. Helene and Milton were so bad. Never seen anything like that, in 100 years? So FCS started a one-team disaster fund just for FCS employees, totally separate from the money we were raising for patients. This money was raised by senior leadership and FCS physicians. And we raised over $210,000 within a few weeks. And the foundation managed that process, managed the money, and employees could apply for assistance. A lot of them had lost everything, everything. Their homes were flooded, their belongings were gone. We were able to assist 59 employees and used every penny of that fund within a couple months. So we're very proud that we were able to be part of that, and the fact that senior leadership and physicians actually want to help their own, right, to help their clinic staff. The other chart here, it's very interesting. We rolled up who are the top referring health organizations? Where are all those applications coming from besides FCS? They're coming from other health organizations in Florida. These are the top 10. So I call this the big boys, right? Look at these names: Moffitt Cancer Center, University of Miami, Cancer Specialists of North Florida. I mean, you get Advent Health on here, the University of Florida, um, Cleveland Clinic, etc. So there's many others that refer, but this is the top 10, and they're pretty consistent every year. They may switch spots, but they're pretty consistent. They have caseworkers and social workers working hard, referring their patients over to us. With that said, the top 10 counties. So where's all this money going? You know, it could be FCS or it could be other. What counties really are we seeing the big chunks where we're sending money to help patients? Volusia popped as number one. Volusia, for those that don't know, is Central Florida. And what a coincidence. That's where the Me Strong 5K race is. So Central Florida is very aware of the foundation, partly due to Me Strong. And so that's interesting that that popped as number one. Duval, I had to look that up. Does anybody know where Duval County is? It's Jacksonville. Very interesting because we have little to no presence on FCS side in that county. But those are coming from those referrals you're seeing over here on the left. And then Miami-Dade is University of Miami and Broward, et cetera. Pinellas is on there, of course, Pinellas and Hillsborough, which is here in the Tampa Bay area. Palm Beach is number 8. So it's very interesting to look at this and say, where's the need? Those are the based on the applications coming in, that's what's going out. Okay. Financial aid. So this is a great visual. The aid we're giving, look at the pie chart. 40% rent. I suppose that's not a surprise, right? Because rent is a big chunk of what we would pay, reimburse the patient, you know, or pay their bills. Mortgage, yes, but more rent than mortgage. And then we have auto, utilities, and I think there's a little teeny slice there that says other. Other may be something like homeowners association fee, something like that. And on here, I'm trying to read this. Okay, so since inception, we have awarded over $15 million and assisted close to almost 9,800 patients and their families. Those are some big numbers. Next year, 2026, will be our 15th anniversary of the foundation. So hang on to your hats because that will be a big year in, we'll probably change our logo and do lots of celebrations around 15 years. So let's flip here to income. Where's all this money coming from? Obviously, oh, sorry, Ashley, I misspoke. Where's all this money coming from? We obviously, if we're giving out 2.2 million in financial aid, we have to have the income to pay for that. So we have multiple sources. 51% is coming from individuals like you. And that is definitely a trend with nonprofits as well, that individual The chunk on the pie chart, individuals is always the number one source. And a lot of people will say, oh no, it's corporations. Actually, it's not. And if you look at our number, 9% is businesses or grants. We do apply for grants like community foundations, etc. It's a very small piece of the big picture. 40% last year was events. So that is a big chunk. We were very event centric last year, and we'll talk about that a little bit and what that's going to look like moving forward. So total income, not including the one team disaster fund, because that's not patients. The total we raised $2,865,000. That is the biggest year we have ever had, ever, even before COVID. A shout out here. We have a great testimonial from Mike. I don't know if he's on the call, but he is one of our new greeter volunteers. He started a greeter program. So he is literally, that's a great shot of him, right? Standing at the front door, welcoming the patients as they come in and making them feel at home, maybe walking them to the front desk. And he said he was pleasantly surprised how well received that is, especially with somebody smiling and greeting you when you're walking in. Okay. We also, in addition to events we put on, there's other organizations or individuals who put on events for us and raise money for us. We love those, by the way, and highly encourage them. So if there's anyone that mentioned something to you, or you even in the back of your mind, we love we call it third-party fundraising, because they do all the work, they do the event, but they name the foundation as a beneficiary. So we'll go and maybe go to the luncheon or the check presentation, etc. And that way it's not staff labor intensive for us. So a couple of them, last year was Amazing Race for Charity. That's over in Eustis. And I think that's Ashley in the picture. That was a whole organization. They do that every year, takes over the entire city. And then an individual, Meg, she was diagnosed with cancer, and her whole family and friends gathered around her and held an event for her, actually in New York, of all things. A big one, Black Diamond Ranch. That is a golf club, and they hold a golf tournament every year, Conquering Cancer in Citrus County. And they raised, if you can see that check, they raised over $75,000. Can you imagine that? I'm like, you are all rock stars that you can raise $75,000 for a golf tournament. Truly amazing. Can you imagine if we had like 10 of those a year? We'd be golden. So if you know anybody that wants to hold an event, please send them our way. We even have a toolkit on our website under ways to help, and you can click on it, and it has all the tools and all the tips on holding your own event. Okay, next page. This is a timeline going all the way back to the beginning and showing milestones. And it's like 2 pages. When you open up the book, it's going to be 2 pages following all the milestones that happened, such as initiating the volunteer program, which was back in 2015, and or raising the amount of our grant award. So this year we bumped up our grant award in past year up to $2,200 from $2,000. And when I started, it was $1,500. So it shows how much we have grown, and how much more we can award each patient. Okay. Wonderful testimonials here. The first one here on your left is Andrew Menendez. He is a new board member for the foundation. He is a CPA at Ernst & Young, and Andrew and his wife are very supportive of the foundation and donate every year, attend our events. And so we wanted to capture their story, as well as we have several other donor testimonials here. You can feel free to go through the flip book and Grateful patient. We're seeing a lot of grateful patients where they are grateful to the physician and their staff, perhaps for themselves or maybe a spouse. So we're seeing a lot of legacy gifts coming from that. Okay, and let's see, next page. A couple volunteer testimonials here. We have Maureen, who works right in our office at the foundation office, helps the client services department. I don't know if she's on the call, but shout out to Maureen. And Patty. Patty's over in Leesburg, South Clinic. So thank you to both of you. We love those testimonials. Absolutely. We do share them on social media for those of you who follow social media. We try to put out testimonials of volunteers as well as patients. And there's the numbers that I was talking about, number of volunteers in the clinics as well as office support. So again, this is a report for the public to see what we've done in our accomplishments. So we definitely want to feature all of you here. Okay, next page. All right, so we had not, if you can imagine this, 9 events last year. The race that I mentioned, Me Strong, as well as Party Under the Stars. We every year, I think that's our 10th year in Sarasota. And Lyrics for Life, which is the band Sister Hazel in Gainesville. I think this was our 4th or 5th year that they have done a benefit concert, as well as Farm to Table in Ocala. We also, for those of you who are following us, we did the Power of Art with the Las Meninas beautiful statues that were painted at the clinics. Maybe some of you were at the clinics where they did paint the beautiful sculptures with the patients and an artist, and then they were all auctioned off. We had 17 of them, 17 beautiful sculptures, and we raised I think over $115,000 just for that. We also we are friends with Friends in Fiction, which are 4 best-selling New York Times best-selling authors. And they did a panel discussion and signed books that evening in Orlando. Tampa Gala every year, and this past year we did Farm to Table. Crack Up Cancer comedy night, and we had a golf tournament. You couldn't cram anymore in here. So let's talk about this year. We cut this down. This is very labor staff intensive. And we looked very carefully at our return on investment on some of these events, and we cut it down. So this year we just did the Me Strong 5K, and hold on to your hats. There were 6,400 runners. 6,400. It's amazing. It's in DeLand, and literally we take over the entire city or town. We just did Mystery Under the Stars in Sarasota, which was a murder mystery, and it was 1920s. I will tell you that our guests did not disappoint. Everyone was in full 1920s attire. It was so much fun. We just did, 2 weekends ago? I'm losing track. Lyrics for Life with Sister Hazel. And they had, as their special guests, Rick Springfield and what was the other gentleman? Erwin McCain. They were the 2 special guest artists. Huge concert, amazingly successful. They just announced they raised $800,000. Now we're not all, I wish we would get all the 800,000, but there are some other benefiting charities. So we are looking forward to how much we will receive. So that is amazing. We are also going to do brand new in the villages. Is there anybody in the villages on this call? This is the first time we're doing a fundraiser in the villages, and it's at the Brownwood Hotel and Spa, which is gorgeous, and it's called Lasso the Night. And it's a country western theme. Noah Hunton is the band, and apparently he's very popular. in that area, and everyone knows who he is. So we're really looking forward to the music and the dancing. And so let's see, what else? Oh, Tampa. We'll do something in Tampa in October. We already have the date. We just don't know what that's going to look like yet, but for sure, annual event in Tampa. Also this year, brand new, if you remember the Menina sculptures from last year, fast forward to this year, I'm going to talk about this in more detail, but we have partnered with the Underwater Museum of Art, which is off the coast, 6 miles off the coast of like Destin, Florida, in the Gulf. They have literally an underwater art museum. There's huge, like 16-foot cement sculptures that are creating a reef. And our Menina was selected as one of the sculptures for 2025. So they're going to create, and I'll show it to you in a minute, a 12 to 16-foot Menina who's going to be lowered into the Gulf. So we're going to talk about that because you're going to like, what does that have to do with the foundation, right? So we'll get into more detail. And just bragging rights over here on the right, we have Guide Star Platinum status. Guide Star is where you would go to look at other nonprofits, as well as we are a 4-star charity with Charity Navigator. That's the highest level that you can obtain. So we're very proud of that. And we're also a very active member with the Lakewood Ranch Business Alliance, which is where our foundation office is. Okay, next page. This gives more detail. I won't go through the whole thing, but this is about the hurricanes and the One Team Fund that was established by FCS and FCS Foundation. And so it gets into some numbers, etc. Okay. Board of directors. So we have 2 co-chairs, Dr. Raul Story, he's over in Vero Beach, and Dr. Michael Diaz, who's in St. Petersburg. Oops. Oh, there we go. Corey Person is the secretary of the board. He is an attorney in Tampa, and Tom Mueller's down in Sanibel, and he's the treasurer. I think Tom has been on the board since like the beginning of time, including Dr. Diaz. Wonderful, diverse board. Some of these board members are no longer on the board, but we included them because they were on the board in 2024. There's Miss Lynn Cowdright, our volunteer liaison. And we also have John Sadeka. He is our patient liaison. He is actually an FCS patient down in Naples and has become very involved and been very helpful in reviewing our patient application, our processes, etc., and had some good recommendations from a patient's standpoint. Let's see. So that is, I think that's it. This, of course, is the end of the flip book where it's driving you to our website, etc. You can donate there, volunteer, etc. Oh, of course, apply. Special events are also, of course, on our website. I am going to, let's see. Oh, here we go. So this is on our website. So I encourage all of you to go to fcsf.org if you have not already. You will, the minute you go there, you're going to get a pop-up on the screen and you can click on it and it's going to take you here to our campaign that's currently running right at this very moment with a deadline of April 1. So we have a very short turnaround here. There is, in this photo, it's an artist rendering of what the Menina is going to look like. So that's the original shape of the sculpture. But we added, the artist, Antonio Azzato, added one feature, which you can see. What is she holding? She's holding a bottle. And so what we are doing is we have a time capsule, and anyone who is on social media, that there was a short video that was released yesterday of me with the time capsule. And I was reading a message and I put the message in the time capsule in that video. So we are encouraging individuals or companies to send us their message, a special wish, a celebration in memory of someone, in honor of someone, whatever you want it to say, up to 50 words. And for a donation, we are going to collect all those messages and we're putting them in a time capsule that will be sealed. And when the manina is poured in Alabama, the concrete with the rebar, that time capsule is going to be put in the bottle she's holding. And all your messages and all those messages of hope or whatever it is will be in her. And she will be immersed into the Gulf of Mexico this summer off of a barge. And she will be there forever. She will be part of the reef. She will be part of the marine life. Her skirt is open so they can go inside, they can hide there, they can live there. And this will be an everlasting legacy from you or any donor forever. And so we already have a couple that sent their message, and it's for their wedding. I have goosebumps. They're getting married in April, so their message is their names with the date of the wedding that will be permanently in the manina. Dr. Story, the co-chair of the board, sent a beautiful message, which I read on social media yesterday. My sister and I are going to put a message because we want to leave our family legacy in the Gulf. And not only is it a donation helping the foundation, but it's part of creating this reef and part of the marine life. So I love this. I just think this project is so unique and like literally once in a lifetime. So think about that. Someone else had an idea too, and I was like, oh, that's brilliant. What if you gave it as a gift to someone? Like it was their birthday, their wedding, it was Mother's Day, whatever that may be, a celebration, that you're gifting this to someone and saying, this message is now part of the Menina of the Reef as a gift. There's different levels. I don't know if you can scroll down. There it is. Okay. So there's different levels with different benefits. For a $100 donation, your message will be in the Menina of the Reef as well as on our website, and it's a stay forever. The Reef patrons for $250. For some reason, I was thinking that was 200, but anyway, $250. They will actually receive a commemorative coin, a challenge coin, if you've seen those, and it will have the image of the Menina, and it's going to have on the back the longitude and latitude of where she is in the Gulf. So that coin will be kept forever and passed down to your families. And then there's other levels, all the way up to $5,000. I think some of them, autograph from the artist himself. So we will have a picture of the artist. He will personally autograph it as a memento, etc. So the benefits keep going up. Love this. Another thought is, and I was going to throw this out to the foundation staff. One of our foundation staff members came up with this idea. He said, oh, I'm loving this. He said, I'm going to ask my family if they all want to pitch in together. And then it would be from the Nolan family or the Racy's family, and make one donation with a message from the entire family. So leaving that family legacy. Brilliant. Kudos to Mike on our staff for that idea. I loved it. As a matter of fact, I may even hit up the foundation staff and see, does the foundation staff themselves want to leave a message? And then we'll just all donate together and put in a message from us. So that was a lot. I'm going to open it up to questions. Is that okay, Ash? Okay.
Yeah.
If anyone has questions, you can unmute, or if you're chat savvy, you can click on the chat button and type in your message. Anybody? Usually we have somebody that has a burning question they want to know.
Don't be shy.
Or I said so much that you're like, okay, I don't have any more questions. Oh, Rebecca answered me. She's saying the volunteers in 2024 gave 3,449 hours. Wow.
Lynn in the chat, Maureen asked, what
Oh, I see
percentages of
one.
grants were provided to FCS patients?
It kind of, well, okay, so that's a very good question. The percent goes up and down, right, Rebecca? I'm looking at Rebecca because she's client services too. I would say our goal is 50-50. So we want at least 50% of FCS patients. And so that's what we strive towards. I mean, sometimes it's more than that, sometimes it's less than that, but overall for the year, at least 50-50.
I have a question. The Menina of the reef, is that going to be accessible to scuba? Like there are dive charters that go off the Gulf, like from Clearwater and other all along the Gulf. But Touche is one, and they go like out to the Circle of Heroes. Will divers be able to go to this Menina on the reef or Menina of
That
the
is
reef?
a good, that is a really good question.
They do like
Um,
barge dives and the Circle of Heroes, which is like that circle of veterans. And but I'm just curious in proximity, like if it's going to be accessible like that.
yeah. I'm, I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong answer. So I'm going to put this down and I'm going to ask the Cultural Alliance and the Underwater Museum Associates and
Yeah.
say that came up as a question. By the way, you can also go to their website. I don't know if their website is a link on our page. Do you guys know offhand? Their website is worth going to. Oh, there it is, right there. About the Underwater Museum of Art. You can click on it and
Mhm.
go there. There's a video showing the immersion last summer of the ones they did, and then it showcases all the sculptures that are approved for this year. Look at that. Is that cool how the marine life is all around? Like what happens is over time, all those barnacles, if you will, everything is covering them. Is that cool? So,
That's really
but
cool.
that's a good question. I want to know the answer too. Right? Okay, we promise we're going to get back with everyone with the answer to that question.
I have one more
Are there
question.
any other questions?
Yes.
A question that's not about the reef or anything, but in the organization, there have been a couple patients that have just stopped coming, and I've asked about them, and it's like nobody knows anything and whatever. Is there any way we can follow up at all? I mean, is it just something that we shouldn't pursue or whatever? I've asked the staff at the place, like, what happened to so and so, so and so? Did they finish treatment? Did they quit? And they said, we don't know who you're talking about. It's very strange, and I don't know if that's because I'm not supposed to ask or what.
Oh, are you referring to patients in the clinic?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, yes. Okay, so they can't answer your question because it's a HIPAA violation.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
if
if
you say, "Oh, I haven't seen Mr. Smith for a month. I'm really worried because we were friends or, we got to know each other. Did he pass away or is he done treatment?" Unfortunately, they cannot answer you.
oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And we have to be so careful, especially since well, I guess it would be a HIPAA violation, no matter if they were nonprofit, for profit, et cetera. It's across the board. And specifically to that point, which is a good question, the foundation has no access to patient information at the clinics at FCS, other than anyone who applied that has to provide a letter of treatment. That's the only thing we see. But we don't have any, we are not in their EMR or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Very strict about that.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Good question.
Lynn,
Yes.
first of all, I want to thank you for doing this. I know that our volunteers are always asking, what's going on with the foundation? What does the foundation really do? So this is really, really helpful and beneficial for everyone. And I also, I think I can speak for all of our volunteers here. Everybody is wonderful and thanks us and everything, but we need the foundation to realize how much we get out of being a volunteer. I'm sure every single volunteer could tell you a wonderful story about a wonderful experience they had by being a volunteer. Just a real quick one for me that happened very recently. After my husband passed away, the couple patients were asking, where was I? And so the nurses told them. So a couple ladies said, make sure that Lynn talks to us. So when I went back, both ladies told me that their husbands had recently passed away. Would I like to get together for breakfast? And so we started going out to breakfast and a few things. Well, now we have a whole group. And whenever the nurses will always say, okay, so-and-so needs some help. So-and-so passed away in their family. And so now we have like a little informal group and we get together for breakfast. We've gone to the movies and done various things like that. So wonderful things happen to us just by being volunteers. So I think we all want to thank you for that.
Oh my gosh, Lynn, I've
so
never heard that
sweet.
story before.
Mhm.
Okay, there's your video. So Lynn, that's the video. That's your
Okay.
video. We asked Lynn to do a video about volunteerings, and that's it. We nailed the story right now. I love it. But we welcome not just, oh, I love being here, or I feel good when I go home. Those personal stories that Lynn just shared, because that's really personal on her part, we want to hear that from all of you. What does it mean for you to be there? Or how has it been meaningful? Has it been a positive piece of your life? I've had volunteers say, which it seems, they're like, oh, I'm so happy when I leave, even though they're at a cancer center, right, in an infusion room surrounded by patients. They are happy when they leave because they felt like they helped in some way, right? Maybe put a smile on someone's face. We love that. We would either in writing, like a little quote, or a little short video. We welcome anyone who wants to do a little video, let's say for social media or on our website or in our newsletter. And it doesn't have to be a formal photography session. Use your cell phone. We just ask that when someone films you, make sure that it's on a steady spot, maybe set it on a table when you're talking so it's not shaky, and do it horizontal. Hold your cell phone like this. That was the request we received from our communications company. That's simple, right? Welcome. You can send them to Ashley. You can send them to me. We'll probably put some questions out there for all of you. Let's see. The next question. I see another question. How many facilities opened in 2024? Ashley may know. I'm not sure.
Ashley does not know.
No.
I do not know off the top of my head.
Did
I
you
know
have
there
any new in your region, Ashley? Did you have any new? No new clinics. Okay.
No.
We've
And I
had a
don't
lot
think
of
there was.
remodels. We just had a remodel, right? In where was that? Wesley Chapel? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a new building, but they remodeled, I believe, is my understanding. I'm not aware of any new ones
Actually,
opening
the
last year.
one in Wesley Chapel is a brand new building. It's a
New
brand
building.
facility.
Okay, but they were an existing clinic, built a new
There's
clinic.
an existing clinic, but they did not perform treatment. The one that opened is very large, like the MLK one.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I believe we had one drop out, right? We went
Our
from
Lake Wales
59
clinic.
clinics to 58 clinics.
Yeah, our Lake Wales clinic was a really small, very small center, maybe 8 chairs, maybe even less than that. I know they had closed at the end of, or maybe even the beginning of 2025. I think it was end of January.
Okay. Yeah, because we sent for this year, we've readjusted our number to say 58. Yeah.
I know there were
Uh,
like delayed grand openings and things like that in 2024, like our Orange City
mhm.
building. They had a delayed grand opening, but I think they were open for a while. I think they just had their grand opening in February of 2024. But I don't think there hasn't been any new ones added since I think Boca. I think Boca was the last
Oh,
one that was added to the
mhm.
volunteer program.
Yeah, down on the other side.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Um, Great. Any other questions? These are all great questions, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, well, to close today out, we are going to show you our brand new video that debuted at Mystery Under the Stars.
Let me know if you can hear it, because I might need to finagle with it.
Okay.
Can you hear it or no?
Lives are forever changed.
Yes.
No.
Cancer diagnosis.
Let me
So,
see. I think I need to stop sharing and then share again. 1 second. I'm so sorry, guys.
okay. And is that the current one?
That's the one I was sent. I could have
Oh,
been.
okay.
Yes, the
Oh yeah, it's
2025
4 minutes. Yeah, I think that is.
share sound. I'm so sorry. Give me 2 seconds, everybody. Mm, think. So this weather we're having. Sorry, I just want to make small talk.
You can
I
always talk
think
about the weather.
I think I might have gotten it.
Okay.
And it's not only the health concerns,
No?
the
Yep.
stress and anxiety about financial worries can be overwhelming. It's the very reason the Florida Cancer Specialist Foundation exists. Meet Selena, a single mom whose diagnosis of breast cancer last year totally altered her life.
Life was very busy. It involved the kids having their activities every day, Alexa, my daughter, and then my son, who is special needs. I was involved in the community a lot, so there was always something going on.
She says telling her daughter was one of the hardest things she's ever done.
When I first explained it to her, the first thing she asked me was, "Are you going to be okay? Are you going to die?"
And that was not the only difficult conversation.
Having to explain it to my job and knowing what it was going to look like when I started chemo terrified me to an extent, because I thought, how in the world am I going to pay the bills?
When she reached out to the foundation for help with her rent, it gave her a sense of relief.
I did not even know how much of a blessing that was going to be. And I would not have been able to do that without reaching out to them and for them responding to me saying that they could help. Having that stress gone, I think, made my treatment easier, because I wasn't worried about, oh my goodness, I've got this bill to pay. For the donors out there, you have to know that it is making such a huge difference and such a huge impact on all of these families who cannot make it without it.
Alicia was first diagnosed with cancer in the early 1990s, yet she has never lost hope or her will to fight. She says her 2 children, a son who is in the military and a daughter in her senior year of high school, are the most important people in her support group, and her family of supporters is quite large.
I have a lot of rough days. I'm grateful to be able to pick up the phone to call and speak to any of them.
Alicia has spent most of her adult life giving back to her community, so it was difficult for her to ask for help with her rent and utilities when she needed it.
I will keep things to myself. I will not ask for help. But I know last year I was out of work for 9 months, and I was glad to ask for help. I've definitely felt relieved and felt like I had a burden relief off of me, so I was very grateful.
The day we visited with Alicia, she had friends and family members who came to tell us how much Alicia's selfless acts have meant to the community of Clearwater and how much she is loved.
Starts at the core of being faith-filled. She is a provider for her family, a great role model for her children. And Alicia finds a way to go through her daily struggles without ever complaining, and making sure that she's always putting other people and their needs first, whether it's in her family or in her community. Alicia has a heart about as big as this city I'm blessed to represent. It's nice to see that returned favor to someone that's so deserving, to get that hand up and to get some help when it's needed the most.
Selena and Alicia are just two of the thousands of patients every year who receive financial assistance from the foundation. We have never turned away any qualified patient. And with your continued support, we never will.
So that's it. We're grateful to the two patients who are willing to share their personal stories. They certainly can tell that story way better than I can or anyone on staff. So we always feature that at our events, and the event coming up in the villages, we will show that video as well. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for hanging in there and listening to the State of the Union. Of course, if you come up with a question after we all hang up, feel free to reach out to Ashley or to me. We'd be happy to answer any question that you have.
Yes,
Turn it
so
back
thank
over
you
to Ash.
guys. Yes, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all for joining us today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. And as Lynn said, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out at any time. We'll have a good one, guys.
Thank you,
Bye.
Lynn.
And thank you,
Appreciate it.
Lynn.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.